is Viloshnee Singh. So I'm a professional geologist. I've been in corporate for more than 20 years. And in 2016, I entered the field of entrepreneurship for a few reasons. So I currently have three companies doing different things, but sort of related. So when I left corporate, the first opportunity I had into entrepreneurship was to buy into a chemicals trading business. So Thembane Chemicals, we provide specialty chemicals, industrial chemicals, cleaning chemicals across various industries. And we service customers in South Africa, and we have got a couple of agents in Namibia, Botswana, Ethiopia, Tanzania. So that's one business. We're a small team. We're a team of about six, mainly females, which is great.
Wow.
And we just really trying to focus on servicing SMEs. And, you know, if we get an opportunity with a big corporate, then of course we're going to grab it. Then the second business is a business consultancy. So it's called the V4 Group. And basically, the reason I started this consultancy is because for the 20 some odd years that I was in corporate, in addition to having a science background and being a geologist, I also studied my master's in business leadership. So I took on a lot of business developmental roles. So I worked at various companies doing business development across Africa, Australia, India. So I thought I'd start my consultancy since I felt that I was experienced in business development and strategy. And I thought that, you know, it would be a good place to offer the services to other companies who were maybe, or to even, well, mainly to SMEs, because they do need a lot of support. So that was the second company. And then last year, I started my NPO. So it's a social impact project, and what this NPO is called Chemistry in Action. And basically what I've done is I've developed a chemistry kit, a fully kitted chemistry kit for learners, specifically in rural schools. But this kit is applicable to private schools, to homeschooling. And the actual objective with this kit is not just to service the South African market. I want to get it across the African market, because the challenges we face in South Africa with our education system, the rest of the African countries face similar challenges. So this NPO is really my baby. I'm extremely passionate about education. I'm extremely passionate about science and STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And I'm hoping that when students actually do chemical experiments themselves, that they are inspired to want to study the sciences. You know, there's less than 20% of African students across Africa that pursue subjects in science. You know, the gap between STEM careers and STEM professionals across Africa is so wide. We're just not producing enough science professionals. So I'm hoping that by supplying these kits to these students, so we actually directed the kit at grade 9 students, grade 8 and 9 students, because it is at that point that they have to choose subjects for grade 10. So I want them to do these experiments and to enjoy the chemistry and to enjoy the science. And then hopefully they'll choose science as a subject in grade 10, and hopefully at university, they'll go into science subjects like engineering and medicine and chemistry and physics and mathematics. So that's the whole idea there.
Awesome. Wow. Okay, so that's actually one of the questions I already had in mind. If you don't mind us just freelancing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Is actually to understand the kit. So now that you mentioned is being, because you know, you want to make sure that STEM becomes a choice, a subject choice when they go to grade 10, because in grade 9 you sort of don't really know what's to come, you know, and yet you have to choose your direction. That's where you really start having to choose, right? So
yeah.
why chemistry? I mean, you study geology, say you're a professional geologist, so why chemistry in particular?
Well, so I have a chemicals company, right? And I'm always racking my brain about how to add value to society. What social impact can I create? So I just said, okay, so I have a chemicals company. I am connected with so many suppliers and customers. It made sense to do something in chemistry. And then if you think about it, chemistry is a very visual, a very attractive subject. You know, when you do experiments and you see the different color changes and you can hear the sounds, it inspires people to want to know more. So it's very exciting. Like mathematics is all about numbers and physics is like, oh, not so exciting. But chemistry is exciting because it's visual. You can smell it, you can see it, you can hear it. So chemistry made sense. And the fact that I was in the industry, it just made sense to produce something that is related and that can be used and that is absolutely needed. You know, more than 80% of South African high schools do not have science laboratories. So where are these students doing chemical experiments? They're not. They're listening to a teacher stand in front, reading from a textbook, or they're watching a YouTube video if they are so privileged to have those facilities. But most of them don't even see a chemical experiment till they get to university. And you tell me, how on the back foot are they when they haven't even seen it in school? And then they go to university and they have to compete with all these big shots who know everything about chemistry, but they don't even know what an experiment is.
Wow.
So for me, it's a no-brainer. You know, it's an essential tool that needs to give these students an opportunity to decide whether I want to be a scientist. They don't have to be forced into IT careers or into careers that you know, they're just forced into because they didn't know better. So we are saying, let us guide you in that process. And maybe you're the next Elon Musk, you know, or Madame Curie. You don't know until you're given that opportunity.
For sure, because I mean, we really only see these in, movies, programs, you know, the labs and the testing, and to actually think about it, you know, if technology on its own, for example, computers are something that aren't, you know, they're not installed in every single school. So what's in a chemistry lab? So the next question would then be, so this kit, right? This CIA, Chemistry in Action kit. Can I ask what exactly it actually contains? What is the kit?
Okay. So the kit contains 4 experiments. These are CAPS curriculum aligned experiments. It's got all the chemicals, it's got all the consumables, it's got the relevant PPE, it's got picture colored instruction cards. So every step is explained. So the students don't even need a teacher to do it with them. If they can read properly, they can do the thing themselves. And that's the whole idea. We want them to have the full experience as opposed to having a teacher demonstrate. We want them to touch it and to feel it and to see it and to be excited about what it could do, you know? So the experiments are all CAPS aligned, right? But what we did is we put exciting experiments like, you know, when you take Enos to burp, you know, what's that reaction? You know, things they can relate to. Or what happens, how do you make oxygen or hydrogen bombs? You know, so we try to connect their daily lives to chemistry and for them to see the connection and for them to relate to it and for them to say, wow, you know, this is cool. I can do this. I don't have to be super smart. You know, I just need to be a bit committed, which is what it is, right? In school, it was like all the clever kids did science and all the not clever kids did, accounting or geography or, you know what I'm saying? So we say, no, that is absolute nonsense. That's not how it works, right? So the kids have everything. The only thing they don't have is a box of matches for obvious reasons, right? Because there's a little burner. So the teacher must light the burner. But and so there's 4 experiments. Each experiment can be done twice. So we've given them enough chemicals to do each experiment twice, because that's all you need, right? And what we say with this kit, we're saying that you can have four students to one kit. So each student can do an experiment twice. And what it's also promoting is promoting teamwork, it's promoting group communication. They like helping each other, they being responsible, you know. We like kind of thought of everything, right?
Wow.
Because we really want them to have it, and we really want them to have the experience, and then to say, no, I don't want to be a scientist. Oh, yes, I absolutely want to be a scientist.
Great. So essentially they have it early. They can then decide early enough to, because it's grade 8 and 9, correct?
Yeah, it's applicable to grade 8 and 9. So in grade 9, you choose subjects for grade 10, right? So we're saying do it in grade 9 and then say, okay, yes, I want to do physical science in grade 10.
Awesome.
But you see, at least they can work towards it, because we know that you need good marks to do physical science and to mathematics. So at least they're aware and they can say, okay, I know I need to get better at my science marks or my maths marks because I want to choose science in grade 10. So we're just trying to get those thinking things happening in their head.
For sure, the thinking hat, because obviously, you know, you'd have to get your hands in there, right? Have the interest to improve your marks, you know, the desire behind it. So,
Yeah.
okay, now just to understand how your journey, your business journey and your experience has been.
So it's been very difficult, right? I mean, so 20 years in corporate, and I'm sure, I don't know if you've had a corporate experience, but corporate is a totally different ball game to being an entrepreneur. Yeah. So in my experience, I had to like unlearn a lot of what I'd learned in corporate when dealing with customers, when dealing with employers, employees, and I had to relearn it all to become an entrepreneur, right?
Okay.
So I think the thing for me is that it's lonely. Everybody says it's a lonely profession. It is lonely because you're on your own. But I think more about the fact that you overall accountable for everything that happens in your business, right? You have a team of people that do this and this, but at the end of the day, it's a job to them, but it's your business to you, right? You've got, it's the life, your life in terms of how you're going to make it work. So it's difficult, but I think you need to have a very focused mindset in terms of, if you want to actually take on this profession, then that's what you got to think about. The fact that you're going to be responsible for everything. You need to be on top of everything. You need to understand HR, marketing, operations, finance, IR, everything, you know, everything. Because if you're a good business owner, you should know your business better than anyone else in your business. That should be your first thing, right? And then you delegate, because you know how it works. And then you can guide other people in terms of how it should work. You cannot assume that people know everything to do. They don't, right? So it's important that you understand that. And, you know, there's been lots of times, and I mean, I've had it more than where I said, okay, I'm going back to corporate. This is just, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And you know, the money thing, you have to like, it's not a constant stream of money. You gotta, every month is a different story. You know, it really, really tests your resilience as a human being, I think, you know, to be able to run a business. And be responsible for everything that happens, and know that you are not just responsible for yourself. You've got a team of people who've got extended families. So you've just got to make it work, come hell or high water. That's the bottom line, you know? So it's tough. It's tough. And if anybody says otherwise, then I don't know where they're living, but generally it's tough. So yeah, I think it's just, that's just, but I don't regret the journey. You know, I feel that, well, as you can see, I've been around for a while, right? So I'm 51 years old.
Oh, wow.
And Yeah. So I'm like going downhill. I'm on the downward trajectory
I
now.
just thought
So
you
I
just
did the
dyed your
corporate.
hair.
Sorry?
I just thought you just dyed your hair silver, gray.
Oh goodness, no. This is very natural. This is 51 years of gray.
Very stylish of you on you.
So, so for me, it's like I've done that, been there, and I don't regret it because I think it's important to have both perspectives, to complete yourself if you have that mentality. Of course, you can stay in corporate your entire life and be happy, or you can be an entrepreneur from day one and be happy. But I'm happy that I had a bit of both. And I think at this stage in my life, I'm extremely passionate about the social impact, the chemistry, because I come from a family where education was extremely important. And I just feel that I have to make it work because for a few reasons, for me, it's a game changer. It's a simple thing that can make a huge difference to so many lives, and it's not just about us here in South Africa. It's an Africa initiative. And I know that there's not anything like it. Yeah, there's other chemistry kits and stuff, but there's nothing like this,
Wow.
right? So I'm just like so like focused to actually make it work. And for me, it's about getting it to the kids. So however I get to do that, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Wow, that's so amazing. The fundamental passion that you have to actually see these kids, have this experience, right? And provide them with the tools that they actually would have only really dreamt of, especially in the rural areas, is the key driver for you to keep doing what you're doing with your team, right?
Absolutely, because it's like it's a sustainable project. It's never gonna go out of fashion. People are never gonna say we have enough. You're never gonna have enough. There's children continuously being born. They need to be inspired, and no one's doing that. And the biggest thing is that they don't have the facility. So, why would you not want to give it to them?
Yes. Wow. This sounds like the president must hear this. The Department of Education or something. Okay. Just to go into V4, understanding. So we understand Thembane and the chemistry and the CIA NPC side. Now, with V4, it's quite a bit of a different one, right? Because it's more ESG outside of chemistry, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so it's a business consultancy. So we focus on business development, research, training, and mentoring. So as I mentioned, because I've done business development for such a long time, I have the expertise. So it's about really assisting companies with their business development strategies. Like if they want to enter new markets or, if they have a new product and they want to understand how it will be accepted, and then of course trying to understand competitors, trying to understand the market. So that's kind of where V4 kind of slots in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for clarifying. So is it both sides where you actually assist the large corporates to identify these excellent suppliers, right? Who are potentially almost ready, as well as readying the actual businesses, right? Developing them into, perfect.
Yeah. Well, ideally, yeah. So obviously very much more passionate about the SMEs in terms of, in my, like these years I've been doing entrepreneurship, obviously come across a lot of SMEs and I've been on quite a few programs and stuff like that, incubators and things. And, these SMEs, they have some of them have some amazing ideas, right, for their businesses. But the basic things like how to prepare, emails, how to prepare a report, how to communicate with customers, or have a meeting and have a conversation on the phone.
Yes.
So for me, I felt a lot of them had these amazing ideas, but they were just focused. They felt that it had to be like difficult and high profile, and all the other things got left. And as a result, they just couldn't develop and sustain themselves. So my message is always very clear. I like to keep things simple. It must be simple so that everybody understands, and the expectations must be clear. And that's kind of, what I try to do in all the businesses, is just keep it simple and uncomplicated.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, and I guess our last question is, what would you say to a young woman who aspires to be like you? What would your message be?
Don't be like me. Seriously. No, seriously. You can't. Okay, listen. Okay, I mean, you're an entrepreneur,
Yes.
You have to be your authentic self, right? You have to be your authentic self. And if you decide to be an entrepreneur, I think every single entrepreneur has their special toolbox. And in that toolbox is all the tools that they use to develop their entrepreneurship journey and develop their businesses. So you can't be like me. You need to be like you. But I think what is important is that the young up-and-coming entrepreneurs, they must listen and pay attention to the mistakes that past entrepreneurs have made, right? Not saying that they're not going to make mistakes. Of course, you have to make mistakes, but at least you prepare yourself to an extent for those mistakes, right? So I think it's important that everybody has their special toolbox. They have all their tools in their toolbox. The tools have to be aligned to the individual in terms of how they deal with situations. You listen and you learn from everybody else, but at the end of the day, you have to apply it aligned to how you perceive it. You cannot copy. You cannot copy what somebody else is doing, because it won't work, because we're all different, right?
For sure.
So of course, every aspiring entrepreneur should absolutely do it. And I think the other message is, you know what? Just do it and deal with the consequences later. and not in a frivolous sense,
sure.
right?
Yes.
Not in a frivolous sense. It's like, if you've got enough money to start a business, start it simply, work through it. Obviously, if you don't have the money, then accumulate, save your money, and then you can do it.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, be cognizant of past mistakes and past errors, and talk to people, and especially talk to people in your space, right? Because they know, they already did all that nonsense. So you don't want to have to do that nonsense. You're going to learn from them. So it would be very silly for an entrepreneur to not pay attention to what has already been done and then say, okay, I'm going to do it differently. I don't know if it's going to work, but that didn't work. But I know that I'm going to do this and this. So I think individualism is very important as an entrepreneur. You've got to, because people have got to see you before they see your business. And that happens more often than not. If the you is not projecting, your business is not going to project. So they must see you and connect with you, and then you can sell your business, because how else is it going to work?
That's very true. Wow. Oh my gosh, this has been so amazing. I'm so sad. We've done this.
I hope you got some value from all of that conversation.
This was so personal for me. I'm just like, okay, thank you very much. Now it's just an affirmation as an entrepreneur. To know that being driven by passion is the right route, the right way to go and conduct your business, because it all comes from somewhere. You literally have that spark and it's fired up by something. So to hear you walk that journey, being driven by what you are about, and being successful in it. It's that proof in the pudding, that I think beyond myself, many can actually, take a lesson from it and understand that it's possible, it's
Yeah.
really, really possible.
Yeah.
So thank
Yeah.
you. Is there anything you'd like to say beyond this?
No, I don't know, so obviously, because I'm trying to get my kids out there. So I'm talking to as many people as I can and networking, and the people I engage with, I'm telling them, listen, if you have a contact who is there any way to actually assist the project, then by all means, we must talk some more or exchange email addresses or whatever, so that I can get this kit to the children. Because at the end of the day, that is my top priority at this point in time.
So how do people reach you, or the businesses?
Okay, so we have a website. So Thembane Chemicals has a website. V4 Group has a website, and on the V4 Group website, the Chemistry in Action, we have an online store for the kit. So if like parents want to buy a kit for their son or daughter or whatever, they can purchase it online. So the Thembane Chemicals website is www.thembane.co.za, and the V4 Group website is www.v4group.co.za. We have a presence on LinkedIn and a presence on Facebook. So we can be reached through any of those mediums.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this and for pushing the energy through so we could, get this to as many people as possible, because I think the dream for me right now after speaking to you is for some ministers to pick this up and, and beyond our country, with other countries, you can only imagine, if obviously South Africa's the New York or the, then, it would really mean so much to the rest of the continent. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Tato, and thank you for inviting me to chat